today?
Fabulous.
Did
Fantastic.
we not have a great day yesterday? We launched our
Yeah.
new network. So excited. Kira did some hosting, and no hierarchy, but Kira was the queen yesterday, and it went great. So congratulations.
Thank
Nikki,
you.
you
Thank
got that
you.
PDF I couldn't get done. So between Kira and Nikki, woohoo!
Yeah.
So,
We rocked it. It really was a good
man.
day. We had the podcast, the first episode dropped yesterday. So if you're listening to this now, you have
Yep.
like I think four others or three others to listen to before you get here. But I mean, we had a great day
Yeah,
yesterday.
it
We
was a
did.
lot of
It
fun.
was
Lots of fun
a
people.
very women talk fierce day.
It,
It
it,
was.
it was great. And the reason I bring that up is how funny the topic today ended up being the same as it was yesterday without even planning it. Like the book,
Yes.
when you recommended boundaries at the end, it cracked me up because the whole talk ended up being about boundaries in one
Boundaries.
way or the other. So it was very
And
fun.
we didn't even plan that. It
We
just kind
had
of
no
happened.
plan.
We
Yeah.
even
It's
had a
hilarious.
boundary
Shelby ended up
coach.
being there, and
She's a
we had
boundaries coach.
no clue. Well, Kira, you did, but we had no clue.
Yeah,
It's
but I
so
didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about Shelby being a boundaries coach. And then she said it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that is
Oh
what you do.
yeah, that's what you do.
I'm like,
So,
how ironic.
hopefully that rolls into the topics I sent you guys out today. So,
Yes,
in order to get to those, I'm going to introduce us. So, we are Wicked Fierce Talk today. We are three women, three stages of life, motherhood, and business. A roller coaster of laughs, lessons, a few loud opinions, and maybe a true crime podcast by the time this thing is over. Who knows?
definitely so.
We've been close. So we have Nikki, Kira, and myself, Tammy. And today's topic will center a little bit around boundaries, but the title of the topic is Nap Time to Network, Balancing Babes, Business, and Burnout. And the first question is when both your business and your babies need you at the same exact time, how do you decide who gets what? Let's talk real boundaries and let's see where we land. So let's go ahead. I'm going to throw the dart and let's go with Nikki.
Oh gosh. Um, it's definitely a struggle. So my kids no longer nap, but when they did nap, it was I thankfully got them on the same schedule. And my daughter was a fabulous napper. She can sleep through anything, and I was able to get crap done. I would pull her up on the monitor, sit at my counter, and work, 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 work. And when she got up, we
And then
just,
comes number two.
yeah. And then here
So
comes
what about
number two that
now?
don't sleep. So he was a
So what
terrible
about the business
napper.
now? What about now, Nikki? That like, what if because now they need you more, right? Like now you're more
Yeah.
hands-on during
All
work.
right.
So
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
So now we do more of quiet time, or I mean, y'all can play as long as you want or whatever, but mommy needs to work for a little bit. Y'all go play.
What happens if you have like an emergency and then they have an emergency?
You just
Well, of
roll with the
course,
flow.
they're of course anything physically emergency or mentally emergency. I'm sure you're right there, but let's
Yep.
just say everybody's wanking. I'm going to use that word wanking at the same time. Then what do you do?
I've had that happen, but this is why I try to only do stuff on the days I don't have them when they have childcare. If I have to do something like yesterday, we did our networking call, I limit it to like one thing. And that's it because I can control about an hour of them playing by themselves or whatever, or watching a movie with some popcorn or whatever it may be, a craft, something. I can control that more so than, oh crap, I've got meetings all day. That's not going to work. That does not work whatsoever.
That makes
So,
So basically, you have kind of you basically have a laid out schedule with a
yeah.
time frame, and that allows
So,
you
like,
to
I know there is
flexibility.
no way I can take meetings on the days I have them before 11 o'clock.
Got it.
It
Well,
just
that's good
does
that you
not
set those
work.
boundaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to learn that real quick because some of those networking calls that I was doing for a while, they were like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, for
Got it.
one, like
Tell me
this.
about it.
Number two, it never failed. I had one kid waking up at that point. So I
Ah,
would always just have to hop off because when they get up, they're
oh yeah,
needy, they want to eat, they need to go to the potty, and by the time I do all that, that hour is already
100%.
it's
100%.
gone. So
Okay.
it's a
It's a juggle,
The
but it
balance.
sounds like you
Yeah.
got some boundaries for that. Amazing.
yeah.
How about you, Kira?
I think I'm pretty fortunate in that, I've been able to sit down with my kids and have conversations, and I have this going on. And they know, like, unless it is an emergency, they don't bother me. They're not coming in. Like my son, he'll come in, like he just came in to say good morning. But he knows, like, he'll listen for who I'm talking to, and he'll know, like, Tammy and Nikki, okay, I can come in and
He
say hello.
knows our
I can
voice.
come in. Yeah. So
He
he's
knows.
learned,
Yeah.
like he's learned. I can come in and say hello with this person.
Yeah.
That person, probably not a good idea. And
Gotcha.
so they've gotten pretty used to it. Now, I will say I started my business with the idea that my family came first.
Yeah.
So if it comes to an emergency and my kids need me, I'm going to go for my kids.
Peace out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Yeah. And I also am very strategic in how I pick people I work with because I like to pick people who also have families. They're more understanding of the kid situation.
Right.
Now, there are some times when I do think there's like you have to set a boundary where your kids are away and you actually have to get down to business and you have to remain professional. And I think a lot of times people will break that boundary because it's like you are running a business. If you want that small business to grow into something sustainable, into a company, you actually have to set those boundaries and you have to, it's almost like separating home and state, right? Like you
Yeah.
have to do that. And so I think there are a lot of boundaries in that once you get to a certain stage in business. If you want to make fantastic money, you
Set
got
those
to make some
boundaries. Set
compromises. Yeah,
those boundaries. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think mine is almost similar to yours. I do recall, as I mentioned, I think a couple times. So I didn't really have any help. My parents weren't around. My husband's parents weren't around. And he was working. So when my kids were younger, I was juggling a ton. But I do remember, you know, scheduling eh, 2 hours or 2 or 3 hours a day in a little daycare that was in the same neighborhood. So they get a break from me because I'm sure they
Yes.
needed it by then. And,
Mhm.
B, so I could have a train of thought and just try to get some stuff
Mhm.
done. And then as it progressed, um, it would, turn into that to school. And in the summer, I would have the same couple days for a sitter. So same thing with you, new to Nikki. I tried to kind of
Yeah.
schedule that around. But for sure, if there were any emergencies, if there was anything, yeah, sorry, work came second. Kids were
Yeah.
always, even
Well, there,
today, if
yeah,
the
there's
phone
always
rings,
something.
if the
Yeah.
phone rings and it's my kids, I take it. The only
Uh-huh.
time I haven't, and that I guess that can be the next question's answer, is when I'm on Zoom and it's, it looks really awkward. But if they, if they're just calling to say, "Hey, mom, what's up? I was out partying late last night," and I kind of know those moments. But so yeah, that's kind of how I navigated it. They came
Yeah.
first, and I tried to be at school with them, do different
Hmm.
things with them, make sure I was available, but set the day, set the boundaries. And that's where I found myself. As soon as I set those boundaries of whether it was a sitter for just a couple hours or the local neighbor for just a couple hours, that was also socialization. I was also trying to make sure, because, for example, the house that they would go to in the neighborhood, there were other kids there,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
sure they need more stimulation than just me.
It's
Um, so completely, all honesty, I had a little bit of help in that way, but most of the time they were with me, and I just made sure when they weren't, I was taking as much use of that time as possible. Um, and then when they were with me, it was really all about them, because what I found is when they were with me and I felt I had to do something that I really didn't want to do, or if it was business related, I almost became agitated, irritated, and they really sense that. My kids
Yeah.
can sense, just to this day, if I talk a certain tone, they're like,
they
"What's wrong?
know.
What's wrong?" So, and that's,
Mom.
what I wasn't thrilled with.
I
So
think that
that's
that's the
possible.
same with me for the mom guilt. It's more of especially on a days like if my caregiver ends up sick or they can't, something's come up, a family emergency, and I'm like, oh crap, how am I gonna, like, I've got 5 meetings today, or I've got this big project I need to do, or like, okay, how am I gonna balance this? And
Feel
all,
that pressure, and it's just like that anxiety almost
yeah,
fills the
yeah.
air, that tension fills the air.
But I think since
How am
I,
I going to do both things? How am
yeah,
I going to split myself in two to be both places? And
And there's
that
never
is
going to be a
a hard.
perfect there's
It
there's
is
there's
not.
never going to be a perfect situation where that's always going to come off without a hitch. I'm sorry, they're just not. And if you're the mother that is,
mhm.
amen, hallelujah, God bless you, but that's some rare stuff.
Yeah,
But I
There are
think since
better
I've
there are
had,
better mamas out there than myself. That is for sure.
amen. But I think since I've
100%.
had my business, as long as Blakely can remember, and I always tell her, like, mommy's working, mommy's on a call, mommy is doing this, mommy's working. Give me an hour and we'll go do something fun, or we'll go outside, we'll do an activity together, we'll read books, whatever your little heart desires, we'll do it. As long as I have mommy time to get this done, then we'll do what you need or want to do.
100%. Well, that leads me into the next question then. I'm going to start with you, Kiara. What's the one moment that hit you hard with mom guilt? And what helped you pull yourself out of it?
I will tell you, there have been a few of those moments, but one that really set with me happened this year. And I'll brag. I have been super mom, you guys. I go to everything. I show up for my
Or
kids.
that mom.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, my kids don't want for anything. But one of my biggest fears is to disappoint my children. And
Mhm.
so this year, I'm working away, and my daughter she drove for the first time this year to school. She drove her brother to school. And so normally she would pick up Dexter or my mom would go and do it. But I had told Dexter one day I was going to pick him up from school. And I'm working away. Kyla had already come home. And I get a phone call and it's Dexter's cell phone. And I'm like, what the heck's Dexter calling me for? School's done. Like, what in the world? So I answer and he's like, where are you?
Is somebody gonna pick me up?
And it hit me. Oh my gosh.
And it makes you feel like that
Yeah,
big.
your whole body just kind of goes numb, doesn't it?
Yeah. I was like, I grabbed the keys and I'm like running out the door. I just dropped everything I was
Yeah.
doing and ran out the door. But I cried because I felt so guilty the
Yeah.
entire way there. And when I got there, he was fine. He was like
Yeah.
chilling in aftercare with his friends. And he was like, it's fine. It was kind of fun. I'm like,
Yeah. He's like,
I
"You
felt
all right,
so
Mom?"
bad,
Yeah.
I felt so
Because
bad.
we put it on ourselves. I mean, of
That's it.
course, I
That's
think
it.
every mom would
Right.
do the same thing, but I think that's because we put it on ourselves.
That's right. And I mean, he did make me feel a lot better because he was like, Mom, it's fine. Like, I knew you were working. I knew you were going to be here. No, you weren't abandoning me. Like, it's okay. And I mean, so we talked through that and I apologized and I let him know, like, please let me know. I want to make it up to you because I do think when we're saying I'm sorry,
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
times that's for us, right? Like I'm sorry, cover it up, just make me feel better by accepting my apology. And I didn't want that. I want you to tell me the impact that that had on you so that I remember next time.
Right.
So, and then let me make it up to you.
Well, I
And so
think
I had
it's
that.
also important for them to understand that we make mistakes too.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
100%. Oh,
100%.
I
If your
think my
kids
kids
don't
know.
think that you can make a mistake, then
Yeah,
that's not a great household
yeah,
because they're going to
100%.
be terrified to make a mistake and not know how to handle that mistake.
Like
That's it.
I'll tell my kids, I am so sorry I acted that way towards you. I'm so sorry I got aggravated with you. I'm so
Right.
sorry that I raised my voice at you. But this is
It does
why.
end when they get older.
Yeah.
Like, but this is why, and mommy should have handled it differently. And I apologize. Now let's go have a better day.
Yeah. And I would ask them, Nikki, like, just for you but also for them, like what impact did that have on you, and then you guys can move forward because they get it out, they get to clear that
Yeah.
from
And
themselves.
that
They
I
don't hold it
definitely
on.
do that. I'm like, are you sad? Are you mad? Are you upset? Like words that they understand at
Yeah,
their age. And a lot of times I can read it on their face anyway, but I'm like, did that make you sad? Did that make you upset? Did that make you scared
yeah,
of mommy? Did that?
Right. Right, right.
what did
I
that
hear
make you
you.
feel like? And Blakely's usually like, oh, it's okay, mommy. Like, it's okay. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it. It's okay. And I'm like, no, it's
I know. Because I do think it's important too that we humanize our kids. I think it's so
Right.
easy to go, I carried you, I could take you
Fine,
out.
you're fine. You'll
yeah.
recover. You'll recover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, they're human too. And so it is so important that we do give them that human aspect and like, hey, what's going on with you? And so Dexter and I, we got through that, but it did not happen again, except the next time
Except
that
the next time when it
the next time I was
happened.
supposed to pick him up, I got into a car accident.
Oh
Well, at least you
no.
could call and tell him, but that's not good either. So just
This
Exactly.
is
kidding.
not mommy's fault.
So finally, I'm like, I'm just not picking up Dexter anymore. It is somebody else's responsibility now because it is clearly not for mom anymore.
Your
So
mom has
Just FaceTime
failed.
him and say, this is not my fault. I'm
oh my
here.
God,
I'm
I
on
did. I was
my
like,
way.
he said, who's coming to get me? And I was like, your grandmother, because I just got into an accident. And I am sorry.
I am so
No
sorry.
impact on you because the impact was on me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not funny, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah. But
Um,
it was
and I'm
funny.
sure he was just glad to know you were safe.
He was. He was.
Yeah.
He was absolutely fine with it. And, you know, next year it'll be so much easier because he's actually doing a lot of the same activities that Kyla, and they're going to have that in
Same
alignment.
schedule.
Do either
Yeah.
of them drive yet?
So Kyla drives, she takes and picks him up. And then there's days where like she'll have practice, so somebody else picks him
Okay.
up. But the following year she'll be off to college and then it's back on mom because he'll be a freshman. So
Well, he gets to drive around sophomore age, doesn't he?
yeah, by
I
sophomore.
tell you, when my drive, everybody's like, "Woohoo! I get to drive!" I remember spending the whole year going every ambulance I heard drive by, going,
I know.
Uh-huh.
"Where's my
I
kid?"
know. It's
Every single day, all the time.
like just waiting. Like, what time is it? Okay, they're supposed to be
Yeah,
home by now. Where are
yeah, like
you?
four little cities away, going to school, and I'm hearing it here, thinking it applies.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Totally feel it.
Funny. So my guilt moment, my guilt moment is actually probably bigger. Um, I grew up a certain way, so when I had kids, I was going to make sure there was never a hand laid on them.
Yeah.
So wasn't going to spank, wasn't going to do any of that. But what I ended up doing, which is not any better, was using my voice. Like I
Yeah.
would tend to yell a lot, a lot. Like you could probably hear me from here to Kingdom Come if I
I'm
was
guilty of
telling
that
them.
too. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
So there were many apologies. Even still now, like I think if I raise my voice, they'll, I can almost see it, but there have been big talks about it, and I tried
mhm.
to explain, doesn't justify, but just tried to explain why and apologies. And, I know you'll do better than me. And they're just amazing human beings. I'm very, very lucky. But that's always my biggest guilt is geez, the yelling. I wish I knew better because it's not any better than hitting. So, we've had talks about it.
Yeah. And I think we've all been there, Tammy, where,
Yeah.
it's like that frustration, it builds and it's like, okay, you have to have some kind of outlet. You have to. If it's at least you are not hitting,
Well,
you
I
know?
think I think when we have so much on our plate and it's just that one little tipping point, and then you just feel like you
It's
can
just like it
it
just it comes
snaps.
out. It just happens.
No,
Not okay, not justifying it. Like I said, super,
right.
big discussions about it, big apologies, and very, we tried to become very aware of it as the days, as the years get when. No, I wasn't perfect 100%. It did get better. And
Yes.
today it's obviously, different, and it was different as they were older, and it was different when they were in high school. But I do regret that, when they were younger, the yelling and that kind of stuff, which, I think that imprints on kids just as much as anything else. So to be open, honest, having conversations with them about it, and, you know, making sure, they see that as a mistake and a weakness on my part that they don't have, that, that mama's learning to, that mama's, getting better every day. And, thank God you don't have this same, you don't have this same demeanor, or you have learned from your mother's mistakes, or whatever that may be. That was my biggest.
I too, and I mean, not even to defend it because I agree with you because I've been there and it feels awful. It feels awful
Awful.
when we do
Oh,
it.
yeah, it's worse.
But I will say too, as humans, what happens when we feel disrespected and we're taught from a young age that what do? You respect your elders and especially your parents, right? It's ungodly to go against your parents.
Right.
So when a child does that, immediately we go on the defensive
Yeah.
because
100%.
how dare you disrespect me?
100%. I
I'm your
brought you
parent.
into this
I'm
world.
your right, exactly. And so there is that power struggle of like, how dare you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
And so I think it is human nature to go there. And
Mhm.
it takes a lot of learning on our part. And it's so
Yeah,
good
and I want them to
back
know
in you.
it's
Yeah.
learning. It's not okay. It's, something mama should have dealt with
Yeah.
and, apologies and, let's, growing and moving forward. I mean, and I would have to say there's still my son, my 23-year-old son. He is my nemesis. And what I mean by that, he is exactly like his mother and he can come back at his mom just with some big strength as far as conversation, debate, thoughts, which I love. You want them to be strong in their
Yeah.
thoughts and they're strong in who they are. Just sometimes we don't agree.
Yeah.
We don't agree politically. So we have to end the discussion sometimes.
Blakely's that way too, and she's only 4.5. And she is so much like her daddy. She is identical to him.
Yeah.
But yet, I can ask them just like going back on what you're saying, Tammy, about the yelling. I can ask them nicely, like, let's play
Yeah.
cleanup, let's clean up the mess that we made. And they just sit there and stare at me like I'm just.
And as soon as you raise that voice, boy, that gives a whole
Stupid.
different
But if I raise my voice, because I don't like to yell, and I'll even tell them, like, I do not want to yell at you, but that is the
It's
only way
coming.
that you listen.
Oh, no.
And they're like, oh crap, mama's yelling. But as soon as daddy walks in the door and he says, pick up that mess, there they
Done.
and I'm over here like
I am the
myself
yeller
a
here.
This
migraine
is
from
another topic.
yelling.
Why is it the men are always the good boys and the fun dads and the joy, and I feel like I am the heavy in every way?
I'm
But
like,
that's
That's
you
another
could have you could
topic.
have done that
you.
5 minutes ago and we would have already been outside playing.
Yeah, see, it's different here because Ryan is the fun one, and so I'm the bad person, but he's
It's
the
same here.
yeller. He's the one who's yelling.
Oh,
And
see, no,
I'm like,
mine was the
it
fun
makes me a
one.
nervous wreck,
Oh,
but he's still the fun dad.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. The fun dad. I don't get that. Like, seriously. Seriously. Is this just because they do less and they can be fun? I don't know, but
I'm like,
come
is
on.
it because you're with me
Seriously.
all day long and you think you can just
Yeah.
run all over me? And then he walks in the door and it's just like,
I think that's a whole hour discussion
It is.
another
right?
day because
That's
that
next week's
highly
op-ed.
aggravates me. How is it you men are always the fun dad?
But that make that
Anyway.
you know that makes you feel like guilt because you have sat there and
Guilt,
get
or
to
they
the
don't
point
want to
of
come to you as
yelling.
much, or right, exactly.
But
They
I
don't
will
Yes.
tell
want to
you,
have fun
but
with
I will tell you.
dad.
Yeah, but I'll tell you when something is wrong
That's
and
when I get it. Yes, 100%. 100%.
it is going to be you, Nikki.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He right
100%.
now, right now, it's dad. But at the end of the day, it's mom.
Hmm.
It's already that way. If
Mhm.
something's wrong, they are gonna find me wherever I'm at. If not, they're picking up the phone somehow and calling me.
Yeah.
Well, now I have kind of an interesting wrap up to all this. I guess I'll go first on this. If we could swap lives with another mompreneur for 1 week, would you do it? Why or why not? Okay, I'm gonna be honest. No, I wouldn't because I love my kids. As crazy as my world was, as crazy as sometimes it can still be, I wouldn't trade it for a minute.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
that's
think
me.
that's me too.
No.
I cannot imagine. Number one, I can't see. I keep looking for all the mompreneurs I know, and I'm
Yeah.
going, who has a better life? And then I look at their Instagrams, and it looks so perfect and wrapped up in a bow on it. And number one, I don't want that life. I don't
This is
want.
why we're here.
I
There are no bows. Let's just be,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't want
yeah,
the bow.
right.
I want I want the real. And so I cannot imagine that I would trade lives with any of them. What I will say is, for example, Manifestation Babe, who I love, I've probably talked about her before, her life as a whole, that things like come easily to her. She gets to take these trips to Bora Bora. She goes to Greece. She's always, she's on the go. She can take 6 months off of work because she has the money to do that, to go and travel the world. I would want that with my family.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I'm wondering, in another conversation, because this could be a whole lot of conversation, but I do think it has to do with a mindset when it comes to money,
Oh,
because I
yeah.
know so many people when in business, and I really feel strongly about this, and I have been there. Um, when I find a client, as I'm a coach, as you are too, um, when I find that they can't look away from the spreadsheet and they can't focus on anything than the money, what that clearly tells me is there's a problem. Right
Yeah.
there's the problem
Yeah.
because you're
100%.
not doing enough over here and your mindset is almost in panic mode all the time. So I
All
think
the
it's almost a retraining of the mindset. And it does take a lot of work. I worked on myself just like I did for the yelling. There were times when things were super, super tight. And, I can recall them vividly. So to retrain your mindset and just knowing that God, for me it's God, but for many it's the universe, will provide. Just trust, do,
100% he
do.
will.
It's never
100%.
not do. I never get these people who think I trust God and things just didn't happen. Well, did you do anything? Or did you just sit there waiting for it
Yeah,
to
because you have to
strike
put
you with
action behind the
lightning?
intention, right? You have to put action behind the intention because God's listening.
You
And
have
he's
to
not
listen
going
to
to be
the
like,
guidance.
here
You
you
gotta
go.
do
Don't do
something.
anything and here you go. I mean, that's not how
Yeah,
it
not
works.
really how it works.
But on that
Anyway.
topic, I will say I listened to the Mind Mentor podcast this morning, and he has a new episode about wealth and happiness that was really, it was so real. I really recommend it. And so if you guys are listening to this, go listen to that next because honestly, the way he talked about it, he said it's a long game. You are not just going to jump into wealth. He said and he gave you the steps of what happens and how to release that, that anxiety, that unhappiness around it.
And that's what it is. And another great book is, I don't know if you guys heard about it, it's Kathy Heller, Abundance Ever After. Amazing. Amazing. She has a whole system. I wouldn't say system, but she's been doing this forever. And she is, she has a great podcast and she's got, done it with all the stars and so on. But I just actually stumbled across her and I somehow ended up on one of her funnels for these books. I'm like, oh, I'll just go ahead and do it. So I ended up doing it, and then I'm like, well, let me check this woman out. So I did her little course, and it's great, great mind. And she's big. There's a whole section on money mindset, and it's funny because you get to hear everybody else's struggles, and they're
Yeah.
all the same. It's just that mindset of panic and I don't know what to do, or I don't know where my next client. And I think if you're there, you're going to be stuck there. It's
Yeah.
getting out of that spot.
Yeah.
So not really sure how I got on that part, but I'm sure I diverted somehow. Anyway, so Keira, then since we're there, go ahead. You've given yours, correct?
Yeah.
You wouldn't switch. You would just want the lifestyle. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the
Um,
same way. I wouldn't trade anything or with anybody. I'm like Kira. I think there's some things business wise that I could maybe mimic of somebody, but it's for the better of my family. It's not to replace anybody, replace anything, or
Not wanting to
replace
be
any
someone else.
experience. Yeah, because, and I think it's funny what was Kira was saying was you see people on social media, TikTok, whatever, and it's like their life is perfect, it's wrapped up in a bow, and it does look that way. And then, like the community group that Kira and I are in, the ladies in that group, we were all bawling on our community call last night. Like every single one of us, because it's just been that type of week of where, all of our lives and on the flip side are, something's going on with our kids or something's going on financially or something's going on business wise or somebody's struggling. So you see in like our positions, you see both sides of these people because the people that I'm on that call with, I see what their Instagram looks like.
And it's a whole different
And it's a
story.
whole different
I
story.
Yeah.
don't understand that. I mean,
So
that
and they don't,
really bothers me. That
It
really
bothers
bothers
me too. And the reason it does is because I
Be
think we need to
real.
show up authentically because
Yeah.
people are struggling with you. And the people who are going to buy from you are the people who are going to resonate with you. So for me, I really struggle with that where it's like, oh my gosh, look, I have this perfect life. Well, things aren't always perfect, and that is okay.
And
You have
and it's not to talk bad about these ladies by no
oh
means.
no.
It's how we're taught. It's how we're
Yeah.
like we have
Right.
to show up
Right. Totally
perfect
perfect.
for our target audience. But on the flip side, it puts a whole different
I think it does.
there's a whole different
100%.
side of things. Like I'm not gonna put her name out there, but she was upset because she hasn't gotten her course out just yet. And she was so upset and she's beating herself up about it, but nobody even knows about it but us.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody
Right.
knows. And
So,
I think it's so easy to
yeah.
say, those things to yourself. And
Mhm.
I do want to point out it's a full moon week, so everybody's crying. Don't worry.
That's
Ah.
what
It's
I was
fine.
asking them last night. I'm like, is this a full moon
It is.
week?
Today is a full moon,
Okay.
so
Okay. Then that
it's fine.
answers all of the
Well,
questions.
well, so I don't know if I
That's it.
mentioned it in the last podcast. I think I might have. I'm trying not to repeat myself, but I'll go ahead and do it anyways. I just got done reading a book called Running Down a Dream. And
No.
there was this part where, I listened to it and when I'm running, I also have it going on. And all of a sudden he said something and I literally just stopped mid-run. I'm like, that's absolutely right. He's like, failure. He says, we all talk about failure,
Yeah.
but we all talk about the failure that leads to the
Yeah.
next success. Nobody is really honest about the continuous failures. And that's where I think I want to be honest because I've had so many failures, so many wins, but
Yeah.
and none of this stuff was easy. This shit isn't easy. And you've just got to understand it's part of the journey.
You have to fumble.
Failure is part of entrepreneurship. That
Absolutely.
is how it is.
Thousand
And
percent.
it's going to be how you roll with it, if you can roll with it. But it was interesting when he's like, we all talk about failure when, oh, yes, I did this, but then I got this. The reality of is failure can be every day. It's just something you got to handle, something you got to learn from, and something you got to grow from. And failure can look different too.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't see them as failures. I see them as lessons now because I've had, 5,000 of them, but
You had to get
now
there.
for life lessons. We'll call them that.
You had to get there.
So I do think that I don't mind calling out the failures because why would I pretend that it didn't happen?
Yeah.
Why? How is anybody going to learn? And am I really learning if I'm telling you I didn't make any failures? Not really.
Kira heard one of mine this week, so that's okay.
Yeah.
It happens. It's life. It's part of life. I keep
Yep.
thinking
And
that.
I just
Remember,
took the day to feel my feels, and the next day I pick right back up and let's what
what's even harder, Nikki, is when you have kids and you've got to almost do a little bit of a dance. You've got to let them go through some stuff
yeah.
and you got to back up. When you see your kid go through a failure, it's tough. Sometimes you always want to be there, believe in them and supporting them, but sometimes you've got to let them go through a little bit so they can be able to handle stuff too.
Yeah, and I'm a firm
That's a
believer
tough
in
one.
that. I can see a lot of times their grandparents even they're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Mommy doesn't want you to do it. No, let them do it. Let them, whatever
From
the
experience,
consequence
yeah,
is, let them
they'll
do
learn
it.
from it. My son went for a small little example. He went to the movies, late movie. He left his, I think they ended up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. He left his wallet there. Guess what? I had a little Apple tracker in it. What is it? What are they called?
Those little
Apple.
chips, those, what are they called?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are they
Oh,
called?
it's no.
No,
What
what
are
are
they
they?
called? Why
Why
can't I
can I
think
not
tags? Tags. They're called
think of
tags.
Tag.
tags? So I actually found where it was. The police went there. Can't really do anything about it, right? If he says no, he doesn't have it. But here's the lesson I knew Corey was going to get. He is never going to leave his wallet again because he had to get a new license,
Yep.
cancel all and I made him do all this on his own.
Mhm.
So that experience will teach him never to leave it there again.
Absolutely.
So
The only
sometimes
time I don't ever let that happen is because my kids are daredevils. If I know for sure it's going to end up with us in the
stop it
ER,
and
I
kind
do not
of
let them do it.
really damage is not a great thing, Nikki. I
Yeah.
agree.
But if
I
it's something
agree.
that mommy's like repetitively told you not to do and gave you a consequence and then you
Right.
doing it
And you
anyway,
do it
then
anyway.
Uh,
It's on
Right.
you, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
you may or may not have an iPad for the next 2 weeks. Totally up to you.
Love it, love it. Well,
Just wait
ladies.
until they start dating, Nikki. Just wait.
Oh gosh,
Keira, I don't even want
that's
to.
again another whole topic.
I don't even want to think about this. Likely, I'm not worried about is Sawyer.
It's tough to have conversations with your adult kids, and you kind of you can't get into their business, but yet you're like the mom, and you're going, just want to make sure everything's okay, things are going right.
Uh-huh.
Everything's good, right?
That's a little funny today.
Did you
Yes,
hear what I said on
ma'am.
my
How's that person doing?
Be careful, right?
That person want to come over for dinner? Like, do they?
It's a fine line. That I'm still
Definitely
learning.
another conversation, but yes, fun.
Ladies, this was fun. We answered the
It
three
was.
questions. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm trying to think. Is there any other insights or any other questions you guys want to throw in there while this wraps up?
I don't think so. I think this was good. Like I feel like it really aligned with yesterday's topic, and so I
Yeah.
felt really good coming into the conversation. And I'm like, I'm if I keep going, I'm gonna beat it to death. So
100%. Oh,
yeah.
and by the way, go ahead and I know we're always going to talk about books because A, I love them. I know Keira, you
Oh,
love them.
yes.
I think you do too, Nikki. You just don't have time to
Nikki
read
loves them
them.
as long as I can listen to them. That
On
is the
Audible,
key.
yeah.
I do
Great.
love books, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Boundaries by Dr. Henry
there you go.
Cloud.
There you go.
Go grab it. Set yourself
There you
some
go.
boundaries. Get your boundaries around your business and around your kiddos
And
because
I
it's
think for the money success, it was what was the other one you'd mentioned?
no, that was a podcast. It is the Mind Mentor.
Okay, Mind Mentor.
Spotify, Apple, it's everywhere. He's
Okay.
huge.
Yeah.
Cute. And
Yeah.
then the book was Happily Abundance Ever After by Kathy Heller. She does have podcasts too, but that is the book. Great for the money
Cool.
mindset.
I'm gonna
I
grab it now.
think we gave everybody else. Oh, Running Down a Dream. I think that's Tim Grahl, which is Grahl, if I'm correct. So we like to give you some resources too.
Yes.
Well, this was
And
great.
if you
I
want
loved it.
further resources and a lovely group of women to chat with bi-weekly, you can head over to our networking site,
Can you tell us the networking site, the name, and where to find us?
Women Talk Fierce.
And womentalkfierce.com.
Yeah.
And you'll get so much more of us, which I mean everybody knows.
Whether you want it or not.
You want to
Whether you
keep
want
listening to us and join us live with conversations.
Imagine us on steroids. That is
understand and this will help you understand the true crime aspect.
exactly. I promise you there will be. I'm just not exactly sure which one of us it will involve.
I don't think I've seen any other networking calls start out with Beyonce going, but that's us.
Anyways, well, as always, ladies, this has been magnificent.
Fantastic.
Signing off, Tammy, Keira.
I'm gone. Gone to work today.
We will see you next week.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.